Tuning you in now to the LBX Show with your hosts, Christine Buer and Brandon Wiley. Brought to you by the LBX Collective, your community to connect, engage, and inspire.
Oh, hey there. How are you?
Hey.
Welcome, everyone. This is exciting. I don't know about you, but I feel like it's almost like Christmas here. Like we're getting ready to go to the IAAPA show like next Friday. I think we're both flying out, right?
Yeah, I know. From here on out, I feel like it will definitely be Christmas before we know it. But you know what? Going to IAAPA is basically Christmas for me. So, it goes like right from IAAPA, leads right into my favorite holiday, which is Thanksgiving. So definitely very excited to go, like excited to be out there. So it's going to be like crazy and exhausting and fun and like going to have to pack in a ton. We've already had tons of meetings and events to go to and stuff to see on the show floor. So anyway, I guess to that point, today's agenda, what we're going to have today on our show is going to basically be more or less things related to IAAPA. So we're going to try to focus on, all right, we've got IAAPA coming up. What are some preview things that you should be thinking about? Our typical open and shut with Kevin will cover the standard open and shut things. However, if you want to hear some of Kevin's take on what to look for on the show floor, definitely check out the Sound Off number 51, which is coming out in a couple of days on Tuesday. So plenty of time still to listen to that or watch that before you actually get to the show. But he covers a lot, especially in the immersive and social entertainment side that you're going to want to keep an eye out for on the show floor. So definitely a good show to go and watch.
Download it on your favorite podcast and listen to it on your trip. So in your car or in the plane on the way.
There you go. Yeah, I've got like a 4.5 hour flight from Phoenix to Orlando, so definitely plenty of time.
I
was on it. I don't need to go, and I don't need to listen to it again. But anyway, so that's what you definitely want to do. But we've got a couple of things to cover on our own with regards to that. But let's kick into news you should know. All right, so we have some cool stuff coming up, and at the show, we are going to officially launch, even though we're going to like unofficially launch it today on the show. We're going to officially launch the LBX Galaxy. Very excited about this. Oh, look at those pins. Look at the LBX Galaxy pins. That is awesome. So speaking of the pins, if you have one of those LBX Galaxy pins or you have one of our LBX Collective pins, or look, you basically should have both. If you have one of those pins and you come by our booth, which is booth number 145, we will have at different various times, it won't be every time you come by the booth, but we will have various times, at least once a day, a speakeasy going on at our booth, and it'll be hidden. You won't even know what's happening. So you have to come, show your, we'll tell you what to do. You have to show your pin, and then you'll be able to get a drink on us. So we'll have a couple different cocktails, maybe some wine, probably not any beer, but definitely come and enjoy something with us and just hang out and chat when we're all going to be back at our booth. So that being said, if you want to learn more about the LBX Galaxy, if you want to get early access to LBX Galaxy, which is a brand new community platform that will allow you to connect with other peers, watch some courses, learn about some marketing things, and we'll have other learnings eventually loading in there, see different media, but basically really just find a place to connect with each other and share information. We have lots of different influencers, people that are thought leaders in this industry, people that are subject matter experts. They will also be in there as well, and just be able to play, be a place to converse and ask questions. And, I know you're super excited about this as well.
Oh, I'm so stoked because, there's so much information out there right now, and I'll see something, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's great. And I want to retain it for later, but I have no way of retaining that. And what I love about what we're doing is we put this on an actual platform where if a question gets asked or a topic gets discussed, it always sits there. So you can come back to it later down the line when you recognize that's a problem. Like, oh yeah, I remember somebody saying something about this in arcade games or food. You can go and you can search that topic and you can see what the experts have said. So it's like a catalog or a knowledge base of all the cool tips and tricks and things that we can do to make our businesses better.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have some cool things going that will come out a little bit later. We couldn't get it done in time for IAAPA to do with all of that information, to make it really easy for you to access that and engage with not just the content that's inside the LBX Galaxy, but all the content we're producing in the LBX Collective, as well as a lot of our partners out there as well. But scan this QR code or go to lbxgalaxy.com and you can basically check a little bit more, check it out and sign up and come on board.
Well, and the other thing I just wanted to mention too is if you have a piece of information that you think our community needs to know about, come on down to our booth and give us an opportunity to record you telling us about that information, and then we'll share it on the Galaxy in the community so that you can kind of be a star too.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even if you didn't want to come by our booth or find us on the floor, just take a selfie, like be on the show floor, take a selfie or whatever, record what you've got, what you think is awesome, and upload it. We have a section, we have a channel in the LBX Galaxy that's your media. You can go ahead and drop in your own information, your own stuff there as well. And then we have different chat threads about all different topics. So different attraction topics, different operations topics, different marketing topics. Put your information, your knowledge, your questions, everything else in there. And we're super excited. And our friends and partners at Radius have put a lot of time and effort into this as well. This is a collaborative effort between Radius, Chuck DeMonte, he does our promo pro tips. You hear their commercial on our website, on our show. And these guys have poured a ton of energy into this as well. And this is definitely a collaborative effort between Radius and LBX Collective. And we're so excited about this launch.
Super looking forward to seeing everybody in there.
Awesome. All right. And you know what? We're speaking at IAAPA. So there's lots of great sessions. We had Sherry on the show last week, Sherry Howell. She was the FEC committee chair from IAAPA. And she talked about all the different education sessions. And 2 of those sessions we will be involved with. So Christine and myself will both be joining Barry Zellickson and Nate Reinhardt from the Fun Across America. And we are going to be doing the essentials to excelling in FECs and LBEs. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I'm excited about that one.
Well, I think it's going to be a super interesting conversation because with them doing Fun Across America and us always looking into seeing what everybody's doing out there, we have a really good catalog of tips and tricks and trends and things that have been happening. So really excited to share that with you. And even if you're not really that interested, I think you should come anyway because it's a lunch and you get to sit down off the show floor for a little bit, rest your feet, have a bite to eat and connect with your peers. But it's going to be a great session. So I hope this lots you guys there.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, just to clarify, that one will not be a lunch. That will be Tuesday at 2:30 to 3:30. So that is the essentials to excelling in FECs and LBEs with Fun Across America.
Oh, I have it.
But still come and kick up your feet and rest and, maybe grab a drink off the show floor and then come and, come and watch this there anyway. And then for the FEC lunch, this is Wednesday at 12 o'clock and it goes till 2 o'clock. And you do get a lunch. This is the next generation of location-based entertainment. LBE will be immersive, gamified, and personalized. And I'll be moderating a panel with a number of great people that are coming on. Louis Alfieri from Raven Sun Creative. You'll have Kevin Williams from obviously Our Sound Off, from the Sting Report, from KWP Limited. And then we'll have Val joining us from Freckled Sky, and then Simon Heap from Rugged Interactive. And so very excited. It's a great panel and we're gonna have a great discussion and we're gonna be able to take questions from the audience as well.
Awesome.
All right. So just to get everybody a little bit excited about IAAPA, because this is obviously the things we're doing. We have to watch, it's like a little minute video. We have to watch this little sizzle reel from IAAPA themselves. Let's get it rolling.
Get ready. Get ready. Harness the power of IAAPA Expo 2024. Join a dynamic community of more than 1,100 exhibitors and 40,000 attendees to elevate the customer experience and push the boundaries of what's possible. Transform cutting-edge innovations into opportunity by discovering state-of-the-art rides, the latest in virtual reality technologies, and high-tech solutions on the trade show floor. Turn insights into action with power-packed education sessions to keep you at the forefront of industry advancements that will improve your operation. And turn conversations into meaningful connections as you network with the most passionate leaders and most innovative minds in the attractions industry. Don't wait. Register now at IAAPA.org/IAAPA Expo and save.
All
I love
right.
that
Well,
little sizzle reel just because we see so many of our friends on it
I
and
know. I
get
know.
excited to hang out and catch up with everyone again.
I know it'd be awesome. And so, we thought what we do is talk a little bit. We've been to the show so many times, and look, we know that a lot of the people that watch our show are IAAPA veterans, IAAPA Expo veterans. We also know there's people who watch the show that have maybe never been, and this might be their first time going, or it
Mhm.
might be their third time going, and you still forget stuff. Like it takes time to learn what to do. And so, we just thought, like, why don't we talk a little bit about, how to explore the floor? And so, we're not going to run down this list, but I know you've got some stuff that may or may not be on this list as well. Christine, what are your thoughts? So what are some of the things that you think of?
Yeah, like, I mean, I think when you get there, like, it's again, like we talked about this earlier, it's like Christmas, right? And you get so excited your first night there, and it's just like you blow all your energy out the door the first night, and you're hanging out with friends, drinking, and you come to the show hungover the next morning. Like, I don't know if that part can be avoided, if that's just who you are. You got to get it out of your system. But what I always recommend is just come early. Come a few days before if you need to do that, so that you're not wasting the time when you have the ability to be on the floor and catching out the education sessions. Maybe come on Friday, do your thing, have your fun before everything gets started. And even before that, one of the things I recommend is make sure you book your accommodations early. Because I don't know how many times you can get caught, because accommodations are really limited to some degree around that area. And if you want to be close, like at Vista K is where we usually book. It's an amazing place. You can walk to the convention or ride your scooter over if you bring a scooter. And it's a really cool spot because it's right across from the new Epic universe that's going to be opening up now. Not sure what's going to happen next year, but make sure that you book that early for next year, because it might be hard to book in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that we've found is really effective is when you hit the show floor. So, like, first of all, there's lots of great education that happens on Monday, and again, you get there early. There's like the FEC reception happens Monday night as well, which Sherry talked about on the last show. But when you walk on the show floor the very first day, it's going to be overwhelming. Like, it's especially, and it's overwhelming even if you've seen it 50 different times. And so what you want to do is really, like, what I've always found is the best is just take the first day walking, like walk all the aisles. It's 10 miles. You can do it. Walk all the aisles and take it all in. And just like take pictures of what you see, make a list of who you want to talk to, and then map them out on the show floor to optimize your time the rest of the time. What that means is, like, basically take a picture and then say, all right, I want to go back to see, I want to go back to see Valomotion. All right, I'm going to go back to see Valomotion. I want to go back to see Creative Works, or go see Intercard, or any of those, but don't stop and do that the first day. Like, unless you had some meetings or something, just walk past them, say, all right, I want to go back to them. Because what happens is you go and you start to do all these meetings, you make all these stops, and then you end up getting to Thursday and you're like, oh shit, I haven't done half the show floor already because I've been having all these like ad hoc meetings, and maybe it wasn't like exactly what you wanted to do. So go through the first day and then optimize the rest of your week based on prioritization and what's the most important that you absolutely get back and see again. And then you fill in the gaps at the last couple of days.
Yeah. And I think one of the benefits to doing that, again, is just because there is so much, you might not be able to see everything. So make sure you put the priority on the things that are really important to you. But if you go a couple days later into the show, back to some of these booths, they're not as busy either. Like the first 2 days, people are bombarded. It's excitement. They're all over the place. It's a little bit disorganized. But if you go back later, once people have had conversations with these booths, you might get some more time with people and just better conversations.
Yeah, 100%. And then I'll say, as a vendor, as a former vendor, right? I'm not, and well, I guess we have a booth technically, but we're a little bit different. What's really important, and what I always really liked, is when people set appointments with us. So we knew that there was a set time that we were going to be meeting with them, and it made it easy for our customers. It made it easy for us, because a lot of times if they came up and they wanted to talk to me, they want to talk to somebody specifically on the team, I might have been busy. I might not have been in the booth. And then they're disappointed and they wasted all that time walking to the booth and then coming back, and like they're frustrated. And so just set some times, and you can set times to meet off the show floor as well. Just definitely preset appointments with your key vendors. I think that's definitely something to think about.
Well, and I mean, while you're talking about setting times, I think the other important thing to note is that education continues through the duration of the whole trade show. So, I mean, it starts on the Monday. Like you can, and what I love about Mondays is that you can just sock yourself into education because the trade show floor isn't open on Mondays, right?
Yeah,
And
totally.
you can do all that. But there is education that's really valuable through the rest of the show. So make sure you go through that and figure out which sessions you want to go to and strategize how you're going to attack the trade show floor. Because sometimes like the education's in the North Hall or in the South Hall, and I haven't looked this year to determine what side everything is on. But I mean, if you're all the way in the North looking at a booth, to get across to the South by foot can take a long time. So you really want to be strategic about where you're going to see people and where your education sessions are set up.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of walking across the show floor, one of the things you're going to want to do 100% is wear comfortable shoes. Don't be the idiot who comes in with hard dress shoes or high heels or whatever. This is not the time to look good. This is the time to be comfortable. So, like do not wear, like you'll see, I'll have my Chucks on and jeans and like rolling around, because it's so important to just be comfortable while you're walking to the show floor. It's so much walking, bring things like a backpack and your business cards. Like, don't forget business cards. Even if you think you don't need it, like, oh, I'm an operator or I'm a future operator, I don't need a business cards. Bring business cards. You need that because the vendors really, really want those business cards to remember who you were, and make sure to take business cards from people as well.
Yeah, that's right. And business cards with your pictures on it. I think something I learned from you actually is they're so important, because then there's a face with a name and the card just doesn't sit in the pile and you're like, who is this person? What was this conversation? Like if you have your face on it, it will trigger them to remember you a little bit better. And I think it's a really, really cool strategy.
Yeah, 100%. There's also another reason why you've taken pictures of the booth, and you're taking the swag and the merch and the collateral from the booths. So that booths, don't just grab it from everybody, but take it especially from the booths that you really want to remember, because that will help trigger memories. And at the end of the day, like, just go and have fun. Make sure to ride the rides, play the games, just take time, sample the food. There's going to be a whole eating thing in the North Concourse, and there's going to be a whole haunted area as well on the North Concourse. So like, just go and have those experiences, because this is why we're in this industry. It's a fun industry. You got to just have fun. This isn't all about business and getting everywhere. It's something I have to remind myself all the time, because I'll just run across that show floor in meeting after meeting after meeting, and I'll forget to actually do any of the stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And, if you are on the show floor and you run into someone you haven't seen for a while, take a breath, take a few moments and actually talk to them, say hi, give them a hug, whatever you need, because there is possibility you will not see them again.
Yes.
I don't know how many times I've made this mistake. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you later, and I never see them again. Yeah. So make sure you do say your hellos and your cordial and have your chats, because you don't want to miss out on those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, the last thing is to bring a notebook and take notes about everything you see. And again, you can take pictures if that's fine. If you just, want to just take a picture to remember it, but you're going to be home and you're going to get home, you're going to be exhausted. And then the following week is going to go really fast because it's Thanksgiving week, at least here in the US. And you are going to be so tired. And then by the time you get back around to the first week of December, you're going to have forgot a lot of the things that you saw or the little nuances of the things that you wanted to remember. So take a notebook, make notes, or make notes in your, in your phone or wherever you need to make your notes, but absolutely make sure to do that. And then by all means, follow up on all of the connections that you made, and potentially even revisit some of the education that'll be online afterwards, the ones that got recorded.
Absolutely. And then I think one of the last things that's really important to do is, hey, you're in Orlando. Okay. So whether you decide to go to the event that IAAPA puts on, where I'm not even sure where it is this year, but you're there, you're at Disneyland, you've got Universal, you've got some really awesome FECs. Make sure you take time out of your visit to go see one of them, because you need to have those experiences to see how everybody else is running their businesses and what they're doing for guest experience and what they have in their centers. So just plan a visit to one of those at least, so that you're getting that experience to help you grow as a business owner and a leader and help your business.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. All right. Coming up, we have Open and Shut with Kevin Williams. Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercart is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, and if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon.
Big hello to everyone. Well, welcome to the latest Open and Shut. And it still continues. We've got a lot to go through. It's nice to see that the patterns are becoming a little bit more clear in which of the trends are leading, but let's jump straight into it. And the first one, once I can get the system to activate properly, here we go, technology at work. So the first ones that we should really be jumping into looking at is the pop-ups, and it's interesting to see how much the brands are now looking at small, short-term installations of venues, taking the best of an entertainment component and then turning that into a traveling experience that can be parachuted into various locations. Hasbro has taken their successful Monopoly Live concept and working with a partner, they've rolled that out into a life-sized temporary installation. And so we see the first of that popping up in the States. It's going to be interesting to see which other companies are going to take their core entertainment brands and turn them into pop-ups, because again, those kinds of sit in the marketing pool. Again, the bowling industry is out of control. We're seeing a number of bowling sites rolling out new versions of their brand. Lane 7 has been working on a confined, or so we say, a smaller punch version of their venue, heavy on the competitive socializing, but still incorporating the boutique bowling that they're known for. 11,000 square feet, so again sits into a nice package for going into ex-department stores and retail units. Lucky Strikes, we've got 2 locations that are going in. These are embracing the brand new mix that Lucky Strikes is going for. We talked about them previously in Sound Off, about how their parent company is doubling down and has quite an aggressive rollout schedule. And so we see the first ones in Denver, and then we're going to get their second one. The Bolero acquisition of the alleys and merging this all into an operation, we're seeing a kind of a pattern of how boutique bowling with a strong competitive socializing aspect and with a strong F&B aspect is really becoming the new hotness, the new place to hang out. The bowling is a component rather than the central entertainment aspect. Our friends with Quest, now we've got to be careful here. Stockholm has quite a large escape room business as well as a social entertainment vibe to it. Different way that people enjoy themselves with the F&B in Stockholm or Sweden, to be honest. Alcohol is much more expensive, but also it's a much more social environment. And the Quest mission rooms, much more active entertainment, as I would call them. Rather than the escape room skill set kind of approach. Anyway, this particular new venue, Quest, has about 15 rooms, differing levels of skill and teamwork needed to be able to crack the codes. And it's something that I think we will get to see a lot more of internationally, where escape rooms have been the zeitgeist for a long period of time. I think the mission room approach to this kind of social entertainment is due to have its time in the sun. Again, Scene 75. This is quite a large facility. It's the largest of their American operations. I wanted to try and do a little bit more detail on this. This is actually a redevelopment of an existing site, so it has been upscaled and increased. the blur that I received says that the whole facility together, including its indoor entertainment, is about 135,000 square foot, which is a vast facility in Illinois. Again, Chicagoland, that area is quite popular. There's a lot of entertainment facilities within the coverage of that sector, and I'm hoping to parachute into Chicago to do a facility evaluation, which we're going to video for our sound off, and I'll try and make sure that I spend some time looking at the upscale approach of Scene 75, who, as you can also see, has updated their brand logo. Flavor Town, if you're familiar with the restaurant and bar operation, the Merrill Beach Hall facility has partnered with Face Amusement Group, and they have increased the amusement and boutique bowling components to this. So one of the things about the expansion of the Flavor Town concept is that it incorporates quite a extensive, what I would call amusement side, and it also has some of the facilities are now incorporating bowling. I'm not quite sure how many Flavor Town USAs there, or Flavor Towns that they're actually out there. I apologize for that, but this particular facility at Merrill Beach is being redeveloped to increase its entertainment offering, and again, it's an example of the crossover between, so we say, restaurantainment and conventional entertainment to create that social entertainment vibe. Again, another vast facility popping up, really, again in Texas. We're seeing certain territories really being pounded by a shotgun approach to a new facility opening, 40,000 square foot, brand new build location. I get the feeling that it's not just a brand new build, but they actually may be using some of the components of the previous warehousing space that was there. Google Maps hasn't updated its image yet, but this facility will be opening within the next 2 to 3 months. Formula Fun Adventure Park, well, it's going to have the karting, and it's also going to have the amusement, and that is the popular mix if you're not putting bowling in. Going back to the mission room kind of approach, the Europeans do seem to be favoring more of a esoteric move away from just the generic escape room and going for the mission rooms and going for a lot more of the skill set. Game House is a brand new offering. It's quite a small multi-room, about 3 or 4 rooms set aside with certain skill games and challenges, active challenges that the groups have to undertake. Touchscreen involvement, interactive floors, interactive wall. It's one to keep an eye on from our point of view, because I think this is a brand that is going to be finding more and more favor in the European sector, building upon what I was saying previously about the move away from escape rooms, but also we are seeing quite a small unit utilization here, which is convenient for certain venues that have free units available. The Gate, brand new VR, well, not so brand new, but this is a arena scale free roam VR operation. I would say it kind of fits into the mold that we've seen from Sandbox VR, what we are seeing from True VR, what we see from some of the other companies that are rolling this out. Our friends at Zero Latency, a very attractive environment, as we've seen with our friends at Park Playground. Latest technology, as we've seen from many of the new competitive socializing venues that are parachuting in a VR component. Not sure if this first facility, the flagship site in Paris, has an F&B component. We're going to try and get our nose into the site as soon as possible, but as our friends at Sandbox VR reach their 60s and as Zero Latency reaches its high hundreds, of facilities, it is obvious that we're going to see other companies throwing their hat in the ring to compete in what looks like very popular water. Interesting one here, your third spot. The name refers to the third place that you want to hang out, the first being your home, the second being work, and the third being this venue. It's what I would say the social sports games, cornhole, some of the darts, some of the bowling, lots of F&B. In a previous warehouse, the whole facility is indoors and offers, a competitive, entertaining, relaxation environment within the 30,000 square foot of this space. Georgia can get pretty hot, so going into a nice air-conditioned facility in Atlanta, I can see that being very strong. The video for this facility was really well done. It was very enticing. It was engaging for their target audience, and we look forward to see how, now they've thrown the doors open, how popular this social sports environment becomes. Attack of the continuing golf swing, from mini golf to crazy golf to golf shooting ranges. It continues on. Pop Stroke opens its 16th venue in Texas again. This is much more of a mini golf, old style, but modern presentation, if you get what I'm trying to say. Laid back attitude, strong F&B component, and focusing very heavily on the watch party kind of atmosphere, lots of screens, so the games can be watched on that, as well as a nice locale beyond what you would see from the other kinds of offering. Interesting twist here. Our friends at Top Golf, one of their early UK facilities at Watford has gone through a little bit of redevelopment, a little bit of reinvestment. From the notes that I have, 100,000 has been invested in bringing this facility up to the latest Top Golf branding, and one of those components is the addition of a secondary entertainment element called Top Golf Arcade. Really nice to be original. They have partnered with Bandai Namco Amusement in the UK to supply the amusement machines, and have dedicated a space within their golf shooting entertainment facility that is dedicated as an entertainment amusement component. So this carries on what I was talking about. We saw with swingers and other venues that are parachuting in off-the-shelf amusement machines tailored to sit in their own unique space. Top Golf seems to be testing or trialing that particular approach. We don't know how many of their other facilities are going to go down this path. Again, in the UK, in Wales, we have a new social entertainment facility open up, Busby's. They're parachuting into a former nightclub. They're bringing the interactive darts. They're bringing, interactive darts, the augmented gamified dart systems. They've putting in the pool, putting in the F&B. So again, it'd be interesting to see if this brand gains traction in Wales. There's not as many social entertainment brands in that area, so they may have the market to themselves initially. Inner city entertainment, 50,000 square foot. This project has been hanging over us for a long time. The planning started back in 2017. It was paused during COVID. It has reappeared. I have lots of renderings, but I don't actually have any internal pictures of the site. But they are working steadily towards now a 2026 opening for the facility, if not earlier. Again, in Chicago, so a crowded scene for this type of entertainment. But the reason it's here is that it is it is getting closer to operating its facility and its soft opening. So we're all waiting with bated breath to see if they make it over the finishing line. And then quickly going through, Detroit announced that they were going to be getting a COSM, the digital shared reality experience. Interesting how quickly they're rolling out new facilities. The casino sector, again, is embracing location-based entertainment. So we have Kids Quest and Cyber Quest as kids and young adult entertainment components going into the Black Oak Casino facility. Disco Bowl, acquisitions and mergers. The Disco Bowl group of family entertainment centers has acquired some of the Super Bowl UK facilities. They haven't acquired all of them. They've just acquired 3 of the key ones. Again, in the bowling, Let's Roll Paraground is the location. This is a chain of boutique bowling facilities, and they're going to be parachuting their latest site into which was previously a cinema space, back from the fires. Playlands in New York, quite a famous amusement haunt. I've been there a couple of times. Well, it burnt down quite seriously in 2021, and it's been going through a long and arduous redevelopment, and it's throwing its doors open next year, beginning of next year. And talking about openings and shuttings, one of the big surprises was Bear Grylls facility finally through the Towel Inn. Many of us in the industry had seen that the Bear Grylls adventure concept, which was really a location-based entertainment based on the famous television personality, had been suffering. But as it had been developed by Merlin Entertainment, we expected them to fight the long fight to try and establish this. Well, they finally throw the towel in after 6 years, saying that they're not going to be opening any other venues and that they're going to be closing down this site and replacing the staff as well as the animals that were used in the petting zoo that was a component of this. Changes and tribulations in Universal City Walk. What's really happening is the Universal operation is trying to take back control of this space where they had previously rented it out to third franchise stores and restaurants. They're now pulling this in, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of months they take full control and turn this into their own dedicated operation, feeding off of the popularity that they are receiving from their Newgate unit, the Super Nintendo World and all of the park there. Mergers and acquisitions. Caesars Entertainment has agreed to sell off their retail and bar area, very popular part of the off casino route leading down to the Ferris wheel and the zip lines for this particular area, and they've handed this over to an investment management operation, and we can expect to see some major changes taking place there over the period of time as it restructures itself. The closing down, surprise closing down of the park in Seoul. It's one of those traditional fairgrounds that has been going since 1972. It's fallen into bankruptcy. It's bounced back out of bankruptcy in Spain. And now, they've bit the bullet, and, they're going to try and redevelop this one last time, but it's going to be an uphill struggle for them. Surprise closing of one of the parks in the UK. Flambard's theme park, again, 1970s vintage park that has gone through many developments over the years, but suddenly announced that they will be closing. Again, suggestions are that developers have made a much better offer for the property than the money that it generates from its current business. And then, a piece of information that we've been waiting a long time to actually happen. The former Six Flags location that was ravaged and destroyed near enough by Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. That space is now going to be redeveloped, and there is suggestion that it will be redeveloped into a brand new park by another operation. But again, watch this space. Anyway, thank you for your time, and I hope to speak to you soon with more news. Have a good one.
Hello, welcome to Promo Pro Tips with Chuck DeMonte. That's me. So today I want to talk about something that I don't know if people utilize enough for location-based entertainment brands, and that's influencer marketing. And I know when I say that, it sounds probably daunting to people or overwhelming, or like, I don't even know where to start or do influencers work. You know, if you have been watching these for the last month or so, one of them I talked about awareness. And the first thing people know about in order to do business with you is be aware of who you are, where you are, what you offer, where you're located, and all that. So influencers are a great way to get awareness of your location, right? But I want to redefine the word influencer for you, because I think that's where people get caught up a little bit. You do not need Kim Kardashian to come down to your location and put it on Instagram, right? What you need is local micro influencers, right? And honestly, this could be somebody with 500 followers, right? In your local market, if you're from a small town that a lot of people know. And imagine you get multiple of those people, 10, 20, 30 people to come and start posting on Instagram. It's going to have a huge impact, okay? So how do you find these people? How do you work with them? I'm going to show you a little bit of that stuff today. Now, I'm going to show you on the computer, okay? I do think this can be easier when done from the Instagram app. And also you could apply this to TikTok. So I'm going to show you though Instagram, but I think that still really holds the best weight for local and exposure for awareness, although TikTok is increasing there, but we'll start with Instagram today. So let me share my screen here. Give me a second. So I'm going to share this whole window here. Hopefully everybody sees this. So one, if you go to instagram.com/explore/locations, you'll see a bunch of, first you got to click in the United States. So let me just take a step back here. So you're going to be, let's see if I can get back there. It's not going back, but you would have seen different countries, right? And so you would click on United States. So first I'm on the United States, and then it lists a bunch of different countries. Now, this is not necessarily the best way to do this from the computer, but if you were on your phone, you would go to Instagram, and basically if you did a search, and I know this is going to be backwards for you, it says places over here, right? And I typed in St. Paul, Minnesota, places, and then I could choose a location, okay? And then what you're going to look at is basically, so I went from here, from United States, I chose Chicago, right? Then I chose the Fulton Market District, okay? And now you see these lists of people who tagged Fulton Market District, right, around you. Now, maybe that's relevant for you. Maybe it's not. You find the location that's relevant to you, okay? And then you want to think about your demographic. That's the next piece. Is it mom that's coming into your location? Is it a younger audience? You maybe have an axe throwing with that serves alcohol, and it's more of a nighttime thing or nightlife thing, right? So it really depends on what your demographic is, right? But basically what you want to do is say, okay, you're going to look at these people. You'll know if they fit your demographic or if it's who you're going after. Obviously, if your mom's, maybe this one right here is not your person, right? And maybe she is a mom. I don't know, right? But she looks like more younger nightlife type of demographic, right? But again, click on her. So say you are mom. Let's see. I looked at this lady and I clicked on her, okay? And you see here, she looks like she's a mom. She's obviously very active and posting. She has a decent following, 35,000. And you don't even need that big. You could be at a 500 person follower, right? So what you want to do is you want to go through and you find a bunch of people like this, okay? And then what you're going to do is, a lot of times these people have a bunch of different ways you can contact them, okay? They'll maybe have their email up here, right? Maybe they'll have a link to their website. You can find the contact information there. You could DM them directly on Instagram, right? So all of that is really, really important, because you want to have, you might DM them, they might not get it. So, you want to email them. You want to figure out how to get best in contact with them, okay? Now, once you are in contact with them, it's like, what does that offer look like? That's the basically starting point, right? And I would always try and start with a barter, right? And so let me stop sharing the screen. Looks probably pretty meta here. Okay, so the first thing I would do is start with the barter, right? Come down, we'll give you a free this, or a free birthday party, a free event, a free tickets for 5 people. I don't know, whatever that looks like, right? That's where I would start. And a lot of times these people, especially if they're smaller, it's a mom with 1,000 followers. She's like, hell yeah, I'll come down there for free tickets for me and my kids, and take some pictures and post it. So again, that's great. You want to start with the offer and understand that. If you have to offer money, sure, think about what that looks like. I would be paying $5,000, $10,000, depending on the size of the influencer. You should be paying a couple $100 maybe at the very most, depending on their follower size, right? But I'm telling you, most of the time a barter is going to work unless it's a super, super big influencer, which again, I do not think you need. Okay. So that's the offer, right? Now, how do you have them post? I like to go about this two ways. Okay. You can just have them do general awareness. You don't want to make it seem so promo-ish, right? You want to make it seem like the influencer came there, they had a good time, they posted about you, right? And again, imagine the power of 10, 15, 20 people doing this, right? Over the course of a year. You're going to get a lot of exposure in your local area, your local community. So first opportunity or way to collaborate with them is literally just have them come down, post and tag you, right? And that's it. Okay. I had a great time. Here's videos, here's pictures, whatever, post and tag you. The second way that you could do this, and a way that I like to sort of do this method so you can understand a little bit more of your return on investment or ROI, you see some sort of at least tangible metric from this, is you have them do a giveaway, right? And the way to enter the giveaway would be by following your business account, right? And so the influencer could post something, you could maybe give them a graphic. Sometimes they don't even need to come to your location to do this, right? But say they come in, they post something and say, hey, I just went to, XYZ Family Entertainment Center, had an absolute ball. I actually partnered up with them to give away 4 tickets. All you have to do is like this post, comment the 4 people you'd want to bring, and follow them on Instagram at, XYZ Family Entertainment Center, right? And now you'll start to see your followers increase, right? Because people want to enter that giveaway, hopefully. And so why that's a cool way is because now you're getting a longer lasting effect somewhat, because people are going to follow you. And now when you start posting, you're going to stay top of mind for them. Hopefully, even if they don't win or they're not the winner, now they're going to constantly post you, and hopefully you'll get them to visit you at some point, right? So that's a really cool way. Now, a third way, and it's kind of a hybrid of the two, or it's not even just a hybrid, but one other way that's really cool, especially if you do a giveaway, you want to do what's called a collaboration post, right? And this is basically where it would show up on both of your timelines at the same time. It's a new feature on Instagram, maybe a year, 2 years old, I'm not really sure. But basically it would be a collaboration post. And when they post it, they will invite you to be a collaborator. And I'm sure you've seen this before. If you're on Instagram, you see sort of the 2 names of the people at the top of the post. It's not just like the one person that posted it. You'll see 2 people on top of the post, basically to the 2 accounts or 3 accounts or whatever that sort of are contributing to this post. Okay. Now that's great, especially on a giveaway, because now it's going on both of your accounts. Your users are seeing it. Your followers are seeing it. Their followers are seeing it. It has a little bit more of an impact. More people will like it, get into the algorithm a little bit more. So it really has a good impact. Again, this can be, I don't want to say time consuming, but it's just like anything else. It takes consistency. It takes time to do it. But if your business is important to you and you want to make revenue, make the time to do it, right? It's really not a question. So again, I wouldn't be overwhelmed by the word or make the word, get scared by the word influencer. I think you could use them very effectively, right? Again, keep in mind, awareness is the number one first thing people need to do business with you. If they don't know who you are or where you are, you're not getting their dollars, right? They're not coming to visit you. So local influencers, and again, local micro influencers, they don't need to be huge. 500 followers, right? 100. I honestly, I don't care. The more people in your community that are doing this, the bigger the impact. So hopefully this helps you. I would give it a try. And if you have any questions on it, feel free to reach out.
Oh, so full of good tips as always.
Yeah. I mean, I loved we always talk about influencers being a potential target for marketing, but like I've loved the detail in which you went down and drilled into really how to identify who a good potential influencer is, and basically, how to get connected with them. So I thought it was super great.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not using influencers in your marketing, you are missing out in big ways. I even know, even back in the day, like I know it's becoming a big thing, but I'd say even 10 years ago when we were operating our business, the amount of business these influencers would drive when they'd come in and do a little recording and bringing their families into the center, it was mind-boggling. People follow those types of people and they want to hear that they've had a good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I even think it's fascinating that there are now influencers, depending on the size of those influencers, depending on the size of their influence, they're actually starting their own entertainment venues themselves, right? Like that's Ninja Kids.
I know.
We talk about that actually on the Sound Off coming up on Tuesday, but we talk about Ninja Kids and what they've done. But yeah, now influencers are actually going and doing their own things and not only helping to promote the facilities in their own community.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. So one of the things that I thought would be cool to talk about is, all right, you're going to get to hear from Kevin on Sound Off on Tuesday about what he thinks should be a few booths to go visit. And most of the stuff's going to be focused on immersive entertainment, social entertainment. But, I know that there's a couple of things you're really excited about going to see. Another thing, a number of things I'm excited to go see. So yeah, what are, what's one of the things that you're like excited about?
Yeah, I think the one that I'm just so curious about is, we've had all this trend around cranes lately, right? Like this gashapon idea and this model, but Eunice has come out with something over the past few years that I think is just absolutely so cool. So they've got I think they have the licensing and the IP to do all the emojis, right? So they have built out these different types of emoji cranes and style games, and they've actually built them into centers. So they've created kind of like a model you can purchase, I think, from them, or they're licensing with somebody, where it's just you drop it in and everything inside of the store is emoji based. So you can go in and win different style stuffy emojis, little toys, little different things, but every single game in there is emoji, which is, to me, maybe it's a lot of emoji at once, but it has an amazing impact. Like, as a matter of fact, here, I'm just going to quickly pull a picture onto the screen of what these stores look like. Because it is so captivating in my mind. Like here's just a kind of a rendering of what it looks like, but it's all emoji. It draws you in. And I think people can get really excited about the concept of going in, playing for an emoji.
Yeah. I love his Emoji Planet brand, and you can certainly get just like a couple of different emoji machines that he has.
Yes.
Like, so, I say it's Stephen Tan with Eunice. But ultimately, from Eunice, you can get these different cranes and different machines. But yeah, I love the idea of the entire Emoji Planet store. And, again, it talks about heavy branding. It's immersive. It's drop in. What a great thing to be able to do. So yeah, 100% going to go check that out.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be nice to see a model of that in any case. Yeah. What are you excited to see?
Yeah. So, I think there's a number of things. Alter Face, which doesn't typically find, you don't typically find, Alter Face fitting within the location-based entertainment or experience space, but they tend to do larger attractions. But what I'm really excited is that they've got this imagination playground, and they're going to be showcasing 5 of their new attractions in a more of an experiential way. And so I just thought, one, I want to go see their new attractions, but 2, I actually want to see how they present it, because I think it's innovative in the way that it's not just throwing up a backdrop and having your attraction sitting out there and talking about it. Like you actually get to go in and experience it. So definitely excited to check that out. And then look, there's some cool, obviously I'm going to go check out what Time Mission is doing, but there's a bunch of others like Activate and lots of other, like adventure room type floor systems and different things where, you have different games that you tap on the floor. I want to go check out what's new in immersive enclosures, if there is anything new. I feel like that was a trend that was really going in a solid direction for a little while, but I know our friend Matt at Arcade Arena is not going to have a booth there this year. And so I just want to see, are there new players? Has Cubix come out with anything new?
They have some new games.
Yeah, they have some new games. Like go play some of those. See if Valomotion is releasing any new things for their Valo Arena.
Yeah, I'm curious too about the projection mapping and the LED screens, because I know we've been talking about this for a long time, that we expect a migration over to the LED screens. So I'm curious to see if people will be showcasing that in some of their attractions this year. Yeah. And then, as always, I'm really curious to see if VR has come any further, so it doesn't make me sick when I'm in rides and stuff. Because it can't just be me that feels nauseous and sick when I put on a VR headset. So have there been any new innovations in that area so that I can enjoy VR without getting that throwy up feeling?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it was Bob Cooney when we interviewed him for our Third Degree show, where he said, look, it's not VR that makes you sick. It's actually just bad VR that makes you sick. Right. So have they got better, right? So do they, is good VR? And I will say one of the good VR systems that, especially ride vehicle systems, is DOF Robotics. DOF does great rides that are synced with their VR. I'm excited to go see what stuff he has. I can't say he, because our friend Bucket, but what DOF Robotics has on the floor that's new. I know some of the new attractions that they have that are actually foregoing some of the goggles and glasses and going more for the immersive enclosure experience. So I'm excited to see if they actually have some of that stuff on the floor. And then like our friends at Creative Works and Funnovation and others, like they're always launching new products at these shows. I know Funnovation innovation for sure is unveiling a new product, they always are very cagey about what it is until you get to the show. And so, we'll definitely swing by and see their new product.
Do you know something that I love that CreativeWorks did is they held a webinar before the show this year so that you could jump on that webinar and actually see some of the products that they were going to have and if there was any new innovations. I wasn't able to join it, but I thought that was a really smart play on CreativeWorks' part because you just get so busy at the show and overwhelmed. Good idea to do it ahead of time.
Yeah,
and the other fun thing is there's so many new video games that are going to be on the floor, or the show floor, and I think that Adam from Arcade Corner in our segment today is going to talk a little bit about some of those things you can search for and find on the floor this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think lastly, there's always continuing to be new innovation in the mini golf trend. And so Holiday is going to have their 360 golf there. AGS will have their new Remarkable. Obviously, Lucky Putt and CreativeWorks is there. And so I just want to see some of the new mini golf innovations, if there are, that are happening out there as well. But as you mentioned, coming up in our segment with Arcade Corner and Adam Pratt, we're going to learn a little bit more about that here shortly. So let's hear from Adam in just a minute.
If you run a location-based entertainment brand and want to attract more visitors, check out Radius. They use real-time location data and customized marketing strategies to help brands like yours stand out. Radius can boost your foot traffic and build a loyal customer base. Plus, they're offering a complimentary local market analysis to show you exactly how they can help you grow. Curious? Visit radius.co and ask about your free market analysis. That's RAYDIUS.co.
It's Adam with ArcadeHeroes.com for the Arcade Corner here at LBX Collective. We are fast approaching IAAPA. Of course, we're not quite there yet, but with that, there's lots to talk about, so I'm just going to jump right into it. But before IAAPA, there's actually another expo that's taking place in Japan, over in Tokyo, this next week. And normally this event happens in February. It's known as either the Japan Amusement Expo or JPO. Although, oddly enough, this year they've really been pushing the branding Amusement Expo, which becomes a little confusing when we have our own Amusement Expo here. Though I guess it's called Amusement Expo International in Las Vegas, but there's no connection with the two companies or anything. But a lot of new products are going to be on display there, from names that are well known, Konami, which is on the screen right there, as well as Taito, Capcom, and also the up and coming company, although now they've been around for 5 years, it would be Exa Arcadia. And so they're going to be showing off a bunch of new games over there, which are mainly for Asian markets. However, some of those games will be showing up here. It's just hard to say which ones exactly will find their way out west. Now, Exa Arcadia is definitely one that where their games will be available worldwide once they are released. They're going to be unveiling 10 new games at JPO, and as far as I'm aware, all those same games will be brought to IAAPA, as well as Exa Arcadia does have a big booth there for IAAPA. Not sure if they're going to have their sit-down Japanese cabinet. That might have missed the shipping period due to a typhoon that happened over in that region recently. But at the very least, the games that they reveal, which are under embargo as when I record this, so I can't say what they are, but I do know what they are. And so if you're into gaming from the 80s or 90s, there's going to be plenty of stuff there that's going to be exciting for you, or if you have an arcade that runs that kind of or that tailors to that clientele. But stuff from Konami, I mean, some of it is finding its way out west thanks to the partnership that they have with Round One USA, the growing chain of arcades here in North America. And so just recently they started testing out a new Contra arcade game. And they've had Bomberman, and they have a Castlevania Marble Pusher, and there's other things that are in the works. It's just, I wouldn't expect any of that to show up at IAAPA just because it's all exclusive to Round One. But still, there's going to be that news popping up next week. But let's get to IAAPA and some of the things that are going to be unveiled there, such as Duck Derby. Now, this is big surprise is when you see this, you probably think, well, that's a Bob Space Racers game. Actually, it's not. It's by Adrenaline Amusements. And so even though they've done lots of interesting things over the years that maybe are a little different from what some of their competitors do, I was definitely not expecting this because, like I said, I thought it was Bob Space Racers because it fits into that kind of midway carnival style game there. But as you can see at the bottom of the slide, there is a 2-player version, a 4-player version, a 6-player version. And so just the more impressive one was probably what will be there. But not sure if they're going to be unveiling anything else other than a smaller version of Drakens that they debuted last year. Now, when I say smaller, the reason I put that in quotes is because it's using an 86-inch TV as opposed to the 100-inch square LED display that the other version came with. So it's not much smaller. It's still taking up a lot of space. And that's something that both Brandon and Christine had mentioned last week after my piece of Arcade Corner was shown there, was just the trend in how big things have been getting and how that has been driving up price. It's been causing issues as far as, what can you put into your venue. For me, where I'm an arcade operator in a 3,000-ish square foot space, I have to be mindful of that, especially, I wish I had 50,000 square feet to work with, but I don't. And that's the reality for a lot of operators out there. And so stuff like this, as cool as that is, obviously that's going to be for an FEC or a theme park or a carnival, something along those lines. It's like if I was interested in something like this, I'd have to go with the 2-player. But still, just the trends for the past several years in focusing on FECs has made it a little tough sometimes when they come out with these giant games. But also just the price too. Like all these giant pieces are making it really hard for somebody who's just getting started in the industry, who may not have a lot of money behind them. Like that was me when I got started, was because I don't come from a rich family at all. And it's making it harder and harder for people like that to get started into the industry. But anyways, this will be at Adrenaline Amusements booth, and I'm sure it'll be very impressive to see. And it does have a video element of some kind there above the play field itself, which does look like it's going to use water. And then we finally got official word from Sega Amusements on this Alpha Ops VR Strike. I've mentioned that the past 2 LBX showings, but now we have official confirmation of what this game comes with. And so I'll go through it quickly because since I've already mentioned it, but it has 2 86-inch 4K screens so that onlookers who are not using the VR part can see the action there. Interestingly enough, it says it uses 4.1 channel sound. Most of the time it's 2.1 or 5.1, but almost never do you see 4.1. I think pinball machines do 3.1, which is even rarer to come across. But it uses a VR gun controller, just like VR Agent, where they fused a VR headset onto the back of the gun. And that was first introduced with VR Agent and became highly influential as a bunch of other companies copied the same kind of design. They have reworked the gun, so it's not exactly the same. It looks like it might be a little more lightweight. And that's what I hope for, because the one problem I had with that on VR Agent is just when you're having fast action and you have to hold it up to your face like this, it's very easy for the VR 3D effect to go out of focus because it's not always staying right there with your eyes, and you have to be mindful of that. And so we'll see how it goes. But it also has a motion platform. Graphics are powered by Unreal Engine 5, so it looks very beautiful. I have video footage of this on my YouTube channel in case you want to see it, although it's not the best because it was taken by somebody's phone and then transferred over Facebook, and so lots of compression there. But this is what the seat portion looks like, and you can kind of get a better look at the headsets there. They almost look like HTC Vives, but I'm very curious what kind of cordage they are using. If it's like very nice steel cords to hold those on there, and how well the cable is held into that, because that's oftentimes the major failure point for those types of games, and a headache for operators, because that if it's failure point and it's failing a lot, then that means we're having to pay a lot of money to fix that sort of thing over and over again. But I also don't have any idea how much this one costs yet as far as the overall MSRP goes. Speaking of VR, another one that will debut at IAAPA is I'm getting ahead of myself, a newcomer known as Night Heron Entertainment. Now, the people behind this they had worked for The Void, which some of you out there might know and be familiar with. The Void was started out here in Utah, where I am at, and Night Heron is also based out of Utah, interestingly enough. But they decided to take their VR experience and put it into this Kung Fu Panda the Warrior's Gauntlet VR machine, which is actually testing out here. The photo that you see there, it's testing at a facility that's about 45 minutes south of me. Unfortunately, I've just not had the time to go and check it out yet, but this will debut at the AVS Company's booth, and it uses a giant screen, as you can see there, so that if you're just standing by not playing it, you can see what's going on in the action. Also look like, I don't know if they used Unreal Engine 5, might have been, I believe, and then it uses an HTC Focus 3 headset, and so you just go through different challenges where Poe the panda is essentially training you to do kung fu. Of course, can't really kick with this sort of setup, but you can do plenty of punching to hit the different targets and avoid obstacles that come your way. So that will be at the show. And then a brand new one that is coming from another newcomer, so now I've caught up, is Chef It Up by a Australian company known as Monkey Splash. So this is a cooking and kitchen game, and it works as amusement or redemption. And what's very unique about this one is it has 4 different sides, and of course this photo doesn't show that completely. You can see the different control panels, and that's the other unique thing, is each panel has a different set of controls, and so what your task is as you're one of the chefs is different depending on what it is. And so the whatever the food item may be, it has to go through each player to be cooked, or the ingredients added to it in a certain way, and it has over 150 ingredients here. But this side here, I guess I should have thrown a photo in there of a larger control panel. It's just a single button, but right here you have dials like on an oven there, so that would probably be cooking it. Then over here, it's also a little hard to see, but that's a bell, like a dinner bell, and so that's probably where you have to hit that to send the order to the customers. Now, it will work if you're not playing with 4 people. It'll work just as one person, but it's very interesting because that provides incentive to go around and try the different ones. And so I'm looking forward to seeing this one there at booth 811, which is right behind the Jersey Jack pinball booth. I really want to see this one in action and get a feel for it. And so that is a cool one to go check out. And then another newcomer, and these guys are in Utah, where I'm at, as well as Night Heron, is Alan One with Asteroids Recharged, which we have discussed before. So they'll have their 2 models there, the 32-inch and the 55-inch ones. They will also have the 55-inch model right next to the Kung Fu Panda one at the ABS booth, but Alan One has their own booth at 3902. Just because I'm low on time here, can't go through all of that, but you can look it up. They are already shipping these out now as we speak, and so some arcades out there can already grab one, but it will also be at IAAPA. And then last but not least is Hulk Hogan will also be attending IAAPA at the Player One Amusement Group booth, where he's going to unveil a game that has wrestlers in it. It has more than just Hulk Hogan in it. I'm just not 100% sure who exactly or what this game entails, but you can find a tweet that has this video on it with the Hulk on there, sort of describing it or teasing it at least. But that wraps us up for this edition of Arcade Corner at LBX Collective. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Hello, Beth Stanley here, CEO and founder of Trainertainment, author of People Buy From People, How to Connect Personally in an Impersonal World. I am excited to visit with you all this week. I promise to talk to you about taking your planning and then implementing some processes around those big plans, because it's one thing to decide I'm going to have 3 of these, or I'm going to do $5 million this year, or whatever it is, whatever you decided you wanted to do in the next 6 years, the next 3 years, and the next 1 year. You gotta get started. You gotta have a roadmap, and having some of the right measurements in place are very important. Here's my experience with business owners. You might be the kind of person who loves every number. Like you glean information and you're motivated and inspired by every number on the P&L. The cash flow sheet makes you jump out of bed in the morning. The balance sheet gives you hope or causes you heartburn. You may be one of those data mongers and love all the numbers, or you might be somebody who likes to have the information but not so much of it, or you may be the kind of business owner, entrepreneur, manager, leader who sees the numbers but you don't know what to do with them. I used to work with a wonderful young woman, and she would always say, well, what's the so what factor? And so what I want to talk to you about today is a scorecard that would motivate. There are theories out there that everybody in your organization ought to have a number. I think that that's true, but I don't think it's something that somebody else needs to track. Accountability lies best with the person who's in charge of that thing that they're accountable for. And when they can measure it, it's a whole lot more fun to do it, as long as the measurement is motivating. So you have to ask yourself, is this data that I have, is this information, and is it good information? Is it relevant information? Does it give us a clear picture of whether or not we're hitting our 90-day, our 1 year, our 3 year, our 6 year goals? Is it got that? Or is it just clouding up the picture? Is it one that you can go refer to and look at if you need it, but it's not inspiring you or making you change your behaviors? Because that's a thing. Measurements that matter, we call them an MTM in my organization. Measurements that matter are those things that inspire and motivate somebody to change their behavior. One of the easiest ways for me to talk about it is in the sales realm. Everybody can understand this. So I think that that meaningful conversations are what I believe that's the activity that drives sales. So what does that mean? If you had a meaningful conversation with a potential buyer, then you next. That's the way that I know how to think about what a meaningful conversation is. And based on your close ratio, your size of your cell, you could back in and figure how many meaningful conversations you should have. I will tell you that in a family entertainment center space, if you have a full-time sales rep, it is not unreasonable to expect that full-time sales rep to have somewhere between 35 and 50 meaningful conversations a week, because so much of what's happening is inbound. So I would be reluctant to accept much less than 8 or 10 meaningful conversations a day. And then you have your weekly number. Now that would, as a sales rep, that would motivate me. If I said, if my boss said, this is how this is part of your comp plan. It's not just your sales, but it is the activity that generates sales. Because if you'll do this, you're going to hit those other goals. The results are often just the outcome of the good behavior. So when you're measuring stuff, when you have the right kind of measurements in place, they change behavior and they're motivational. So I hope that helps. Gave you the one example. Send an email to me if you want many other examples of what measurements are that motivate. I have people talk. A mechanic can be quite motivated by uptime on games or games per stop if they have a bowling center. I've seen my kitchen staff, my back of the house kitchen folk, be very, very inspired and motivated to make sure that they manage the cost of goods. That's where, and we've got to be motivated to manage cost of goods if you're going to do the job well in our food and beverage space. Listen, I can't leave you without talking to you about measuring your success at IAAPA in a couple of weeks. Gosh, I think it's a week and a half away before I go. I'm speaking at Rookies, and I've also got a group sales presentation on, Tuesday or Wednesday. Look at your schedule. I would encourage you, as you prep and get ready for IAAPA, that you put some measurements in place for yourself. Maybe it is that you're going to make 2 brand new contacts every single day. You're going to network with at least 2 new people that you're going to provide your information, and you're going to do a good job connecting and following up with them in the coming weeks. I think one of the best things about a big gathering like this is that we have the opportunity to network and to meet other people. I know for me, serving on committees and that sort of thing at IAAPA and making myself more available really, really enhanced many of the great relationships that I have. And I hope maybe some other people have benefited from the relationship that they have with me as well. So set yourself a target about how many real new friends you're going to make next week. I would also say be mindful each day of how can you help? How can you be in service to somebody else, and be intentional about it? Maybe even journal about it at the end of the day. I would absolutely journal at the end of every day about the people you did meet, because you're gonna walk away thinking, oh, that was wonderful. I'm gonna remember so-and-so. And from Monday to Tuesday, you can meet and see so many people and so many things. I can promise you're going to forget. So either take notes in Evernote. You can speak into your phone if you want. If you're like me and you carry a full focus planner, make notes either while it's happening or certainly at the end of the day, because I can promise you're going to have a hard time remembering all the great things you're going to see and all the neat people you're going to meet. There are luncheons every day. If you've not looked at a luncheon, I saw today something I had not seen in an IAAPA newsletter about women in industry, and that there's a luncheon there. So I hope to see you. We will be in booth, I should be able to tell that to you, maybe, 4536 or 43. I don't know. But we're on the show floor, Trainertainment. I hope you'll come by and see me. And I'm certainly open to any and all suggestions about what you want to do next to scale up. I'll see you next time. Beth Stanley.
Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercard is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, And if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon. All right. Well, here we go.
Oh, the mic
all right. So
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on what Beth had to say?
Yeah, the one thing that really stuck out to me is that, I mean, we collect so much data nowadays. Like we have these tools, we have these things that collect all the data. And then what is it that you should do with them? I thought it was a really good point that she made is what's the so what factor? Like, what is it that you need to be looking at? And the point where she make a measurement or create a measurement that matters for your staff is so important. You're going to have all this data. They're not going to be able to filter through it all. So make sure that you're really, really careful about what data you use to set as targets and goals for your staff, and make sure it's motivational and not something that scares them. Like I get worried. I hate stepping on the scale to see how much I weigh. And I feel like data's like that. Like, don't give me one that's going to scare me every week that I have to look at. Make it motivational and fun, and don't turn it into a threat for your staff. Thought that was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and one of the things I really liked about what Adam was showcasing is actually there are a couple of things that I want to go see. First of all, I'm definitely going to go check out Duck Derby. So I'm like, this. I am a sucker for and a big fan of midway games in general, but specifically unattended midway games. That are obviously driving redemption. So that's just I want to go check out Duck Derby. It's cool. It's not from Bob Space Racers, which you see obviously a lot of midway games from. Which look. Bob Space Racers, the inventor of the whack-a-mole. This is the original whack-a-mole here. So obviously a big fan of midway games and Bob Space Racers. But yeah, really want to check out Duck Derby.
Well, and I just thought it was so curious that new Chef It Up game. It sounds like it's a new entry into the arcade market. Like, who are these people from Australia? We'll have to go check them out and meet them. And I want to ring the bell.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. It seems like a super engaging thing. And what I like about the Chef It Up is this is why I like Killer Queen and some of the other new models of games that are coming out where they're both collaborative and competitive. And you're not just all racing, like all together racing against a track or something like that. You're competing and you're doing things. And in this case, you're doing things potentially collaboratively, right? Doing different parts of the kitchen and you're all around in a circle. And I think that type of interactivity with your friends is really good.
Yeah, super fun, super fun. I mean, the other one I want to check out is the Panda one, because we saw this at Amusement Expo and it was behind a curtain, I believe, right? And we couldn't try it out. Yeah. I'm sure that was the one. So now I'm so dying to try it out. And I think it's interesting though, because apparently you're only going to be able to use chopping motions in your hands and no kicking. So is that going to make the game fun or not? I think I feel like I want to kick. So I want to see how the interaction goes with this.
Yeah, for sure. I think things probably like if I get too excited, I do kick. Like I'm going to break something, probably not on my leg, but on the machine. Not me. I'm not going to break something from kicking something unless it's like a wall. But I think the other thing I really love is what Alan 1 is doing. I used to play Asteroids relentlessly when I was younger, and I love Asteroids Recharged. We got a chance to play that. I think it might have been Expo last year. Actually, we got to play that, or else maybe it was
Amusement Expo.
Yeah, it was Amusement Expo, and I loved it. And I'd love to have one here at the house, certainly. But man, the Alan 1's doing good stuff, and excited to see if they have any other new games out besides just Asteroids Recharged.
Yeah, right on.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a no shows. So no LBX shows for the next 2 weeks. Next week, we're just getting ready for IAAPA. This normally airs on a Sunday. Sunday is when IAAPA is already really rolling. So, next Sunday. So we're just not going to be doing a show that week. And then obviously the week of IAAPA, we're going to be on the show floor, learning about so many things. And so we will actually, the next time the LBX show will air is in 2 weeks, and that will be on the 1st of December. And that will be focused exclusively on IAAPA Expo review. Obviously we'll probably have a little bit of stuff here and there, but mostly like, what did we see from the show that was amazing, or that were takeaways? What we learned from the education that was good takeaways. So it will be an IAAPA Expo review show, and we're very excited about that one coming up.
Awesome. And we still have a sound off coming up this week. It is going to be on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Should we watch a little trailer or a little teaser from that show?
Yeah, let's see what's coming up on Sound Off.
Awaited Gold Storm Pirates, which is a environment cabinet. Some of you will be familiar with the Dead Storm Pirates as operators, which is a very popular environment cabinet machine. What we mean by environment is you're closed off. It's the emotion seat, a big screen, and you're sucked into the experience. That is a trend that we're going to be seeing a lot of at IAAPA. Of a number of manufacturers are going to be shipping over environment cabinet style shooting game experiences. LAI, Bandai Namco America, and also you could kind of say that the new Sega VR game is a kind of environment cabinet, big sucker that sits in your facility and takes a lot of real estate.
Yeah, super excited about this one. Again, he's going to cover so much stuff that we need to see at the show floor as well, and just way too much to talk about here on the show. So you've got to watch Sound Off number 51.
That's right.
All right, everybody.
Right.
Well, that wraps up the LBX show for November 10th. It's crazy. And yeah, we're really going to get 2 shows this month, but that's all right. We've got IAAPA Expo, which is our Super Bowl. We're super excited about it. And we really want to see you there. So remember, bring those pins, come by our booth, sign up for LBX Galaxy, get in there, start communicating, start sharing stuff you're seeing on the show floor. So excited for the next 2 weeks. And we will see you all December 1st. Stay tuned and keep kicking ass.
Bye, guys.